Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention?
I am that dude, Bodkins. Patty to patty. It's ridiculous. No way. There's nobody else out there. He's your guy. Give a big round of applause for the one and only Bodkin Show. I'm going to repeat that again, folks. I didn't stutter. Welcome to the Bodkins Show.
Good evening, everybody. I'm back. We're back. Welcome to another great show, the Bodkin Show. Man, it has been a while since we've actually even done just a Sunday night show. I believe about 2 or 3 weeks. We've been gearing up for some football, so we took some time off. And, man, it has been a whirlwind here. Oh, just kind of checking on something here. But it was crazy today. If you missed our Sunday morning show with the boys on the Let's Talk Sports show, please check that out. We talked all the games. Thursday, we also picked all the games as well. But tonight is just going to be a little solo action, just your boy by himself, breaking down, talking all the games that happened just today. We talked a little bit of that Chiefs game that happened Thursday this morning. But later in the year, it's next week, Johnny will be joining me and Scott will be joining me. Maybe we'll have a few others here and there to join us throughout the weeks, throughout the season as well. But, man, it was an incredible week one. Lots of surprises, lots of, and lots of, I fucking told you so's. And we'll talk about all that right now. And some people probably going to say, hey, Bodkins, I fucking told you so. And I'll say, you know what? I'll admit when I'm right, and I'll tell you when I'm wrong. It's kind of what, I'm always true to myself and true to you guys. But let's jump right into it, man. First game on the slate here today we'll talk about is this Browns-Bengals. Browns 24, Bengals 3. Where the hell was the Browns offense? That's what I want to know. I mean, Joe Burrow, only 82 yards passing. I mean, this is a team I picked to win the fucking Super Bowl, y'all. And, the old Bodkins KOD is off to the right start here. As Burrow, only 14 of 31, only 82 yards. Joe Mixon, only 56 yards. Jamar Chase, 5 receptions, 39 yards. Where the hell was T. Higgins at? He was nowhere to be found. Maybe you should go back to 85 instead of 80, or instead of wearing number 5, because you were nowhere to be found today. And then you get to the other side. I mean, Cleveland, man, they looked good. They looked exactly kind of what you would expect them to look like. Deshaun Watson, nice, not a great game, but a decent game. 16 to 29, 154 yards, did 1 touchdown. Nick Chubb, we know Nick Chubb couldn't get the touchdown, unfortunately, but 18 carries, 106 yards. They're going to ride this man to death. I said Bobby G, we need to apologize to our guy, Bobby G. Hey, you got that receipt, Bobby G, and it's got my name on it, but you're barking today like the dogs will do, but we'll see what happens. I told him, hey, holler at me in about 16 more weeks, and we'll see where these two teams are at. It's week one. I did pick the Bengals. Browns took it, and the Browns look good. I did say this team's going to look good. They're probably going to finish second in this division, I think, and today they proved it. They proved their defense is legit. They have weapons. Nick, again, we talked just about Nick Chubb. Elijah Moore, 3 receptions for 43 yards. Amari Cooper, 3 receptions for 37 yards. And Njoku, 2 receptions for 24 yards. So, he spread the ball around. They sacked Burrow, I believe, 6 times. Let me take a look here. I want to see that. Sacks allowed. They sacked him only twice, so I guess that was a different game I heard. But not bad there for the Bengals-Browns game. It was interesting. That game was a game I was watching early. I wanted to see how the Bengals would do. It was very slow start for both teams, and give it up for the Brownies there. We got some comments already rolling in. What's good, JDS? Eagles looked pretty good today, a close game. So we'll get to their game in a little bit. Before we get into, let me get to some ad read stuff here before we get to before we get the rest of the game. When our community wins with us, we want to ensure you've maximized your return on investment. Line shopping for the best odds matters, and that is why any profitable sports bettor needs to be using multiple sports books. Thankfully, there has never been a better time to get signed up, and we're here to connect you with the best promotions industry-wide using our link at signupexpert.com/let's talk sport. The website is linked in the comments section here and on the scroll bottom right here as well, along with our Discord. So you can get access to all the sports books in your region, along with a review of each platform and unique features. If you want to take advantage of these benefits and support our brand, please consider signing up for your next sports book at signupexpert.com/let's talk sport. So, or let's talk, I guess. Sorry. So please check that out. It helps us all out here. Again, you can check that out. The website is linked right into the comments section, and it is also scrolling there at the bottom, please. And we got our Discord. So if you want to check out our Discord, lots of cool things happening there here on the Let's Talk Sports Network. So please check out that. Let's get back into these scores here in these games. An absolute, just the game that you kind of thought it was. I actually thought the Texans would do a little bit better, but sorry, Carlos and Rios. The Texans look like the same old shitty Texans as the Ravens with all the new weapons. Scored 25-9. Lamar Jackson, 17-22, 169 yards. CJ Stroud was 28-44, 242 yards. Damian Pierce, 11 carries for 38 yards. Nico Collins, nice game, 6 receptions for 80 yards. Zay Flowers, man, what a debut for Mr. Zay Flowers. He had 7 receptions in this game. Oh, I'm trying to let me get back into the Ravens here. Zay Flowers, 9 receptions for 78 yards. Odell Beckham, only 2 receptions for 37 yards. And then Rashad Bateman, 3 for 35. More importantly, though, for the Ravens, J.K. Dobbins, torn Achilles, out for the year. He did have 8 carries and 22 yards and 1 touchdown. And then it kind of going to split this backfield between Justice Hill and Gus Edwards, it looks like, going forward. Both of them had 8 carries, but Justice Hill got the goal line work for 2 touchdowns. It seems like Dobbins' career is pretty much over. Remember, 2 years ago he had the bad injury. This year, now he's got the Achilles. So, that game seems to be his career might be over. So, let's get into the next one here. We got Vikings Bucks, and what was a shocker here. Hey, I told you the horseshoe was going to fall out of Minnesota's ass. Well, by God, here's a 1-score game they didn't win, and they lost 20-17. For all the hate that everybody's giving Baker Mayfield and this Bucks team, like, Baker played pretty well, 21-34, 173 yards, 2 touchdowns. We were kind of talking about it with a couple guys today at the birthday party. I said this Bucks team, Baker's got some weapons. This is probably his best team he's had. And the last team he had that was pretty good took him to the damn playoffs, and they beat the Steelers. And were Chad Henne's quarterback sneak a couple years ago away from beating the Chiefs in Arrowhead. So you look at Kirk Cousins, 33-44, 344 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's going to throw it all over the place. That defense isn't very good. They didn't score a whole lot. Obviously, that Bucks defense, I've said this Bucks defense could be something here. Antoine Winfield Jr. had a nice game. Rashad White, 17 carries, 39 yards. Alexander Madison, 11 carries for 34 yards. Mike Evans, 6 receptions for 66 yards and a tutter. Justin Jefferson, 9 receptions for 150 yards. So, those guys absolutely balled out. Chris Godwin had a nice game, 5 receptions for 51 yards. So, I mean, Baker was using his top 2 guys, And then you look at, Jordan Addison, 4 receptions for 61 and a touchdown. He had a nice game. TJ Hawkinson, 8 receptions for 35 yards. So just Minnesota couldn't punch the ball in the end zone. And if you do that, this game's different. Both teams, they had 2 fumbles, 3 turnovers for Minnesota, 2 fumbles lost and interception. That'll cost you every time they lose the turnover ratio. And, Minnesota loses Tampa Bay. That's kind of I think the shocker of the early games. I told you I thought the Bengals would win, but the way they won too, the way the Browns would won, that was kind of a shocker. But then we get into the Falcons, the team I got winning this division. Falcons, Atlanta, Bryce Young making his debut, and he played pretty much like a rookie. 20 of 38, 146 yards, only 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Desmond Ridder. This is the type of games I expect to see Desmond Ridder play. 15 to 18, 115 yards, 1 touchdown. They're not going to let him just sling it all over the place. They want him to run the ball, don't commit turnovers. We're going to play good defense. Miles Sanders, 18 carries for 72 yards. Hayden Hurst, 5 receptions, 41 yards, and a touchdown. Kyle Pitts, only 2 receptions there. But Hayden Hurst, that might be a good – if tight end is a shithole in fantasy right now, so Hayden Hurst always seems to find himself on a new team making catches. So, Bijan Robinson, nice, decent game, 10 carries, 56 yards. But Tyler Algier, 15 carries, 75 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Drake London put up a big donut. He was went high on a lot of people's boards, and he did absolutely nothing today. Then we got the Commanders and Arizona. Arizona was in this game for, majority of the game until about late in the fourth quarter. Commanders, it was, 16-10 most of the all the way to about over halfway through the fourth. Then the Commanders finally got it together. A key fumble by Josh Dobbs there. Kind of led the Commanders get back in and take this lead. Josh Dobbs, 20 of 30, 132 yards. James Conner, 14 carries, 62 yards. Rondale Moore, 3 for 33. Then you look at the Commanders. Sam Howell, 19 of 31, 202 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He also had a fumble. Brian Robinson, 19 carries for 59 yards. Curtis Samuel, 5 for 54. Marquise Brown had 3 receptions. Zach Ertz had 6 for 21. So if you're in a PPR lead, you might be looking at Zach Ertz. Sam Howell, again. Antonio Gibson, only 3 carries for 9 yards. He absolutely did dog shit for in fantasy purposes. Thanks, Ryan Larison, for telling me to run him out there. He absolutely did dog shit. Logan Thomas, 4 for 43. Johan Dotson, 5 for 40. Terry McLaurin, only 2 for 31. But the Commanders, again, win a close game. A game that I thought was closer than what it needed to be. So maybe the Commanders are going to struggle here. They're not going to be as good as they once were. They gave up 6 sacks. So Sam Howell had 6 sacks. They're going to keep that kid upright if they're going to want to beat really good teams. Again, he had 3 turnovers and 6 sacks. So maybe Sam Howell's not as good as we thought he was going to be, or maybe it was just one game. Either way, we're going to have to figure that part out. Let's get into the next one here. We got Jaguars Colts, another game that was somewhat close until the fourth quarter. Jaguars kind of put it on them, put 14 unanswered in the fourth to make it 31-21. Not a bad game for Trevor Lawrence, 24 32, 241 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. ETN, 18 carries, 77 yards, and a touchdown. Calvin Ridley. This is why they went out and traded for Calvin Ridley, to make sure he's the new number 1. 8 receptions, 101 yards, and a touchdown. Zay Jones had 5 for 55 and a touchdown. Evan Ingram, 5 for 49. Then you look at the Colts. Anthony Richardson, not a bad game, 24-37, 223 yards, 1 touchdown. Did have 1 interception. Also ran for 10 carries for 40 yards and a touchdown. Deion Jackson, remember, no James Jonathan Taylor for the Colts, 13 carries, 14 yards. Michael Pittman, 8 for 97 and a touchdown. And then after that, they absolutely have nobody on Indy's team. But 4 sacks allowed by the Colts. That's got to, and then the 3 turnovers as well, 2 fumbles and a turnover. So the Colts just got to clean some things up. They looked better than what I thought they were going to, but we'll see what happens going forward with either one of these teams. I mean, Jacksonville's got the Chiefs next week in a rematch of the divisional round playoff game of last year. So we'll see what happens there. And this was another surprise shocker to me of the day. 49ers Steelers. Everybody on our panel on Thursday picked the Steelers money line even. It was pretty much a pick 'em, but by God, the 49ers went and smacked the Steelers in the fucking mouth. And not on top of that, hey, remember when we said people were saying Brock Purdy wasn't going to be healthy? Everybody was a fucking doctor. Oh, Brock can't throw deep. Brock can't do this. Brock can't do that. He's got a weak arm. There's no way. He had just had Tommy John surgery. He won't even be available for week 1. Yeah. Well, how's your fucking PhD working out for you? Because Brock Purdy looked like an absolute freaking stud against a pretty good Pittsburgh Steelers defense. 19-20, 220 yards and 2 touchdowns. Stick that in your pipe and freaking smoke it, Ted Smokes Balls, because you're over here dissing Brock Purdy, who's a quarterback of your own fucking team, and Trey's better. Well, Trey can't even get on the field, and Brock Purdy just led your team to a freaking huge win on week 1. And you were like, oh, doctors. I've had doctors on my show. I've had doctors. Yeah, well, you and those doctors don't know shit. Christian McCaffrey absolutely freaking balled out. 22 carries, 152 yards, 1 touchdown. Brandon Ayuk. I told everybody that would listen, Brandon Ayuk's the best freaking receiver on this freaking team, and he showed it. I don't want to hear about Deebo Samuel. Deebo Samuel's a running back, not a receiver. Ayuk absolutely balled out and made me look like a freaking genius today. 8 receptions, 129 yards, and 2 freaking touchdowns for one Mr. Brandon Ayuk. Welcome back to the league, Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson, the Steelers, if you remember, absolutely nowhere to be found in the Rams. Last year had 5 receptions for 64 yards. George Pickens, 5 for 36. Deontay, 3 for 48. Najee Harris, where the hell were you at today? 6 carries for 31 yards. Jaylen Warren, 3 for 6. I know they got down big and they couldn't go. And the Steelers at one point punted 5 times, and by about 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter had 1 net yard. So this 49ers team, a team that I picked in the NFC to win the Super Bowl, looked really freaking good in week 1. So I don't want to hear any more Brock Purdy slander about how Trey Lance was better and it was a dumb move and this is a big Kyle Shanahan year. Those people are absolutely freaking idiots. Yeah, we'll get to Jordan Love here in a minute. Alan, Drake London was nowhere to be found today. He missed the bus. He was sleeping. So Atlanta's not going to throw the ball a whole lot. That's not going to be their MO. If they can run the ball 50 times a game with Bijan and Algier, they absolutely will. Let's see. That was kind of we got one more early game here. And it was the sloppy game of Titans and Saints. I wish the Saints would have scored a touchdown or kicked a field goal to cover. Unfortunately, they didn't cover, but they did get the win, 16-15. Ryan Tannehill absolutely stinks. 16-34, 198 yards, 3 interceptions. I mean, if he's going to play like that, you might as well play the kid, Mr. Mayo himself. I can't think of his name, but you guys know what I'm talking about. The kid that they drafted. Now I'm going to have to look it up. Mr. Mayo. But Tannehill stinks. 3 interceptions. Derek Henry, 15 carries for 63 yards. DeAndre Hopkins, 7 receptions, 65 yards. Chris Olave absolutely balled out, 8 receptions, 112 yards. Jamal Williams, again, no Miller, no Kamara, 18 carries for 45 yards. And that's pretty much it. This game was just a slot fest. 3 interceptions by Tannehill. That's not gonna be able to get it done. Like I said, they need to, if he's gonna play that bad, play the kid that they drafted in the second round, who puts mayo in his fucking coffee. Derek Carr, nice debut here. 305 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Your typical Derek Carr game. A lot of people like the Saints. I got them kind of finishing second in this division here. Hey, Bobby, I did apologize. I said you were right. About the Browns winning, but talk to me in 17 weeks. Today, they looked like a team that could win that division. That defense looked really good. So shout out again. We get into the late games here. We'll start here. We'll start with my Packers in the late game. An absolute new owner. Same stadium, new owner, same result. Jordan Love made the Bears he absolutely owns them. Aaron said, "Here's the keys, kid. I'm going to let you have them." And now Jordan Love owns the Bears. I don't want to get this crap. He didn't look good or this and that. The kid was 15 to 27, 245 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Absolutely balled out. Aaron Jones, 9 carries for 41 yards, and he had 2 touchdowns as well. 1 receiving, 1 rushing. Luke Musgrave, 3 receptions for 50 yards. Romeo Doubs, 4 for 26 and 2 touchdowns. Jaden Reed, 2 receptions for 48 yards. One of them was a huge third down play. The Packers, the Packers impressed me today. Their defense played really well. Justin Fields did what Justin Fields does. He went 24 of 36, 216 yards, 1 interception, had a fumble as well. He had 9 carries for 59 yards. He's going to run the ball all over. Roshan Johnson, 5 carries for 20 yards and a touchdown. I think he's going to eventually take over that backfield. They absolutely shut down DJ Moore, only 2 receptions for 25 yards. Take that. Jair locked him down. Darnell Mooney, though, had himself a nice game. 4 receptions for 53 yards and a touchdown. This game was, the Packers just absolutely from the second half just kind of took over. The Bears got it within 10, and then the Packers went down and scored another touchdown. Had a pick 6 in there. So, the Packers looked good, folks. I was excited. I told everybody this is the most interesting season as a Packers fan I've probably ever had in my entire life. Because we just don't know. I thought Jordan Love looked pretty darn good, being in his first real full game, starting game of the season. This team played really well around him. He didn't make too many mistakes. They kept him upright. He used his legs and athletic ability, play really well. So I thought, give it up for my Packers 1-0 on the season. Same old sorry fucking Bears. Let's get into the next one here. We got Raiders Broncos. Tanner was absolutely shitting on the Raiders, said we're all dumb for picking the Raiders. Well, who's dumb now? Because the Raiders win 17-16 in another sloppy game. Somebody asked me, why are all these games kind of sloppy? I said, because really, they're not getting enough practice. Like, they've cut down on two-a-days. They've cut down times in pads. We've gotten rid of another, preseason game. They're not getting the reps that they normally have going into the season. The reps are cut back. So the first 2-3 weeks of the season, always sloppy, usually about week 4 or 5. Turn out to be pretty good. Nice game by Jimmy G, 20 of 26, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Russell Wilson, 27 of 34, 177 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was still kissing babies out there. Sean Payton's debut ruined by the Oakland Raiders. Josh Jacobs, not a whole lot. He'd missed all of preseason. But 19 carries for 48 yards. Would have loved to see him get a touchdown to help my fantasy. But, hey, Jacoby Myers, 9 receptions, 81 yards, 2 touchdowns. Maybe he can be that compliment to Devontae, who went 6 for 66. And get to the Broncos here. Russ, again, the 2 touchdowns. Javonte Williams, 13 carries for 52 yards. Not much there. Samaje Perine, 8 for 41. And then you get to the receiving. Perine, 4 for 37. Cortland Sutton had 4 for 32 and a touchdown. The Broncos, this was a low-scoring game. Both teams, the Broncos had 2 sacks. Other than the Jimmy G, I mean, there's just a punt festival here in this game. But 17-16, the Raiders are in lone first place in the NFC West. So there's that. Let's get into the next one here. We got just a few more games to get into. We got 2 more. We got 3 more here. Eagles, Patriots. I thought the Patriots were going to pull this off. I turned it in the last 5 minutes. But Patriots, just the lack of talent. They need some more talent on that team. Eagles win, though. Hurts had a huge fumble that almost cost them the game. But in the day, they win 25-20. Jalen Hurts, 22 of 33, 170 yards, 1 touchdown. Mac Jones played really well. Return of the Mac, you could say. 33 of 54, 316 yards, 3 touchdowns, had 1 interception. Kenneth Gainwell, 14 carries for 54. Zeke, 7 carries for 29 in his debut. A.J. Brown had 7 for 79. Devontae, 7 for 47 and a touchdown. So, Dallas Goedert, nowhere to be found as well. That'll change next week, I'm sure. You get to the Patriots. Kendrick Bourne looked really good today, 6 for 64 and 2 touchdowns. Ramondre had 6 receptions for 64. Hunter Henry, 5 for 56 and a 1 touchdown. Did drop a crucial 4th down ball, but Juju had 4 for 33. They were 1 toe tap away from really almost winning that game. Rookie receiver just couldn't put his second toe down. The Cowboys are absolutely putting it on the Giants here, 19-0. Giants stink this year. They're going to stink. Let's get into we got Rams, Seahawks here. I told everybody Rams. I love the Rams with the points. I was the only one in the panel that picked it. And well, do you know the Rams absolutely freaking won. Matthew Stafford, 20 of 38, 334 yards. Kyron Williams, I thought it was going to be the Cam Akers show. Cam had 22 of 29 and 1 touchdown, but Kyron 15 for 52 and 2 touchdowns. So can we get it back to Cam Akers, please? 10 receptions for Puka Nakaku. 10 receptions, 119. Tyler Higbee had 3 for 49. And then we get into the Seahawks. Geno played like dog shit, 19 of 26, only 112 yards, 1 touchdown. Kenneth Walker, 12 for 64. DK, 33 for 47 and a touchdown. That was pretty much it for that game. Then we get into the highest scoring game of the day. That was Chargers and the Dolphins. Dolphins win 36-34. They win this one. Tua, absolutely stud. 28 of 45, 466 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Raheem Mostert, 10 carries for 37 and a touchdown. Tyreek, 11 receptions, 215 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jalen Waddle, 4 for 78. And then you get to the Chargers. Austin Eckler had himself a game, 16 for 117 and a touchdown. Joshua Kelly, 16 for 91 and a touchdown. Justin Herbert ran one in. Eckler, 4 for 47 receiving. Keenan Allen, 6 for 76. Quentin Johnson had 2 for 9. Mike Williams, 4 for 45. This was a back-and-forth game. Dolphins win a high-scoring. I said the over would hit. I think the over was, when we looked it up this morning, was at 50. Well, it crushed the over. Dolphins win. and pretty much a nice, fun game. That was a lot. If you like high scoring, that was the game of the day. Alan's letting me know negative 19 yards for the Giants here. So let's get into it. We'll start with our absolute turd of week one. Week one's big old fat turd goes to the Bengals. You can give it to Joe Burrow. I'm going to give it to the team as a whole. You only scored 3 points. T. Higgins, where were you at? You absolutely get an absolute shithole. Only scoring 3 points. I know the Browns are improved. I know the Browns are, but you're the team that I picked to win the Super Bowl. So you're getting our big old fat freaking turd of week one. Our dog is none other than a guy who I said can't spell his own name, and that is Tua Tagovailoa, baby. Tua time down in Miami is our dog of the week. I just read his stats. 3 freaking touchdowns. How many yards again? We'll look that up. Oh, 3 touchdowns, 466 yards. Yeah, Tua is back. He's healthy. They look freaking really good with Kareem Hunt. You could give Kareem Hunt the dog, but I'm going to give it to Tua, and that Tua gets my dog of the week as he looks, MMA Tua is absolutely, the right pick. So, anyway, that's it, folks. A nice little quick show here. They'll get a little longer once we have some hosts. Our guest on John will be joining me for the most part again. Week one after week two, kind of helping me talk about all the games. Scott will be on giving us hit fantasy losers and things like that, and some guys we should be looking at the waiver wire, and as we'll talk about each of these games. Shared my thoughts on quite a few of these games tonight. My picks went pretty decent this week. So, no, Alan, actually, it was split. Sam and Tanner picked the boys. The rest of us picked the Giants. So I was dumb, clearly, for picking the Giants. Hey, it happens. Join us again, though, tomorrow. Tomorrow night, be a friend, tell a friend, folks. Let me read one more ad read here again. When our community wins with us, we want to ensure you've maximized your return on investment. Line shopping for the best odds matters. And that is why any profitable sports bettor needs to be using multiple sportsbook. Thankfully, there's never been a better time to get signed up, and we're here to connect you with the best promotions industry-wide using our link, signupexpert.com/let's talk. You can get access to all the sportsbook in your region, along with review of each platform and unique features. If you want to take advantage of these benefits and support our brand, please consider signing up for your next sportsbook at signupexpert.com/let's talk. Again, sign up for that. If you're a gambling person, fantasy, if you just go there, it'll actually ping your location and show you all the cool ones that you can sign up for fantasy and those things. Also, join our Discord as well. Lots of cool things. Guys are talking in the Discord chat right now. Different discussions every day. We got pretty much every sport going on in there in the Discord. So, please check that out. We'll be back. I'll be back with the gang tomorrow night. The Let's Talk Sports Show rolls on as we get ready for week 2 of the NFL season. We'll talk with Jonathan and Jim all about week 1. We'll talk a little U.S. Open. Jim was at the U.S. Open today. So he got to see the final as Jokic wins. We'll talk a little UFC as well. We'll talk about all those things tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Central, 9 Eastern, with Jim and Jonathan on the Let's Talk Sports Show with all the guys. Scott will be back from Vegas, so we'll get everybody's thoughts on week 1 as my team won. Johnny's team won. That's it. Everybody else's team lost. So we'll update the rankings as far as our picks and everything else. We'll break all that down. And so Can't wait to talk with the guys tomorrow night. This has been another great episode of the Bodkin Show. We'll see you tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Central, 9 Eastern. Be a friend, tell a friend, folks. I'm going to hit that outro. We'll see you then.